Welcome back. Well, now more evidence that many of our metros and bigger cities are coming closer to financial disaster. This morning, Business Day reporting National Treasury sent a letter to Tshwane saying it could lose around 620 million rand because it hasn't spent the money it does have properly. It's also owed 23 billion rand by people who have not paid for the services they consume. Professor Kedibone Phago is head of the School of Government Studies at Northwest University. Professor, good afternoon to you. The situation in Tshwane, I'm sure, is similar to what's happening in other metros and other councils. They're owed a fortune. They can't get the money that's owed to them. How does this happen?
Good afternoon, Stephen. Thank you so much for inviting us to be part of your show. Yes, it's an important conversation we are having because metros by nature are actually big economic engines. So we want to see them running and functioning properly. So when we see situations like this, it actually tells us that there are a lot of issues at play. And I suspect one of those issues for now is that the metros need to tighten their capacity to go and get their taxes paid by their citizens. And I think this is one of the major challenges that we need to focus on much more closely and say, what capacity do they have to make sure that every single rate and tax that is owed to them is actually being paid? So for me, it's an issue of capacity in the system.
Is it also about a political will? Are councils, people who are elected sometimes, prepared to do what it takes to get the money that is owed to them? I mean, I don't know in Gauteng if it would be a wise politician who would go into Soweto and say, you are going to pay for electricity now.
Yes, and that, for me, that is an elephant in the room, that maybe we have a massive political interference in our administration, and that actually twists the arms of some of the dedicated public officials, municipal officials, to really do their job properly. So I think we may want to reflect more on this. I saw the National School of Government also has a document that seeks to talk about the professionalization of the public service. Maybe this kind of conversation needs to be trickled down to municipalities as well.
All of this is, trickles down through the system. Councils don't get the money they're supposed to get from people who are supposed to pay for services. That means that they can't pay Eskom the money that they're supposed to pay, which means that Eskom ends up with huge debt, which just goes higher and higher and higher. It's tempting, it's an election year, Professor, it's tempting to say we should just write off the whole lot. Government, the National Treasury, has already sort of made some plans to kind of help councils to pay this. But could that be the only way out of this problem?
So I think political parties, especially the coalitions and the main political parties that are running these municipalities, are now finding themselves between a rock and a hard place, because when we realize that the infrastructure is being vandalized, that we have potholes, it is again another major element that will determine whether these politicians will win the votes. So they may not go to collect rates and taxes from citizens, but the reality of service, lack of service delivery on the ground is also something that can come and bite them. So I think they just need to sober up a bit and really do as much as they can to improve our finances in the municipalities.
Within all of this is the way that councillors and councils manage the money that they do have. And I need to say this. Auditor General, after Auditor General, after Auditor General, after Auditor General has said that there is no consequence management for the mismanagement of money in councils. Now, this is surely, and I think we need to say this is a political problem. It is because of politics. This may get me into trouble, but it may be the politics of one party that is responsible for this.
That's right. And so local government is a constitutional establishment. So our constitution speaks about local government that is able to be sustainable and provide basic services. So that is a very strong and important responsibilities on the shoulder of anyone who is functioning within that realm. So the challenge that we have seen, as you rightly point out, I mean, we have started the democratic system of local government in 2000. And rightly so, as you say, there has been a lot of problems in just really making sure that our municipalities are functional and that they are sustainable as per the constitutional provision. So you will see also that there has been a number of interventions. I mean, going back to the Project Consolidate, we had a lot of intervention from the Development Bank of Southern Africa trying to assist municipal capacity in infrastructure, in auditing, in finances, so that we can rely and make sure that these institutions are protected and that they are supported accordingly. Lately, I mean, since Project Consolidate, we've had several other interventions. We are now speaking about the district municipality planning system that the president has introduced. But we are not really seeing results of these interventions, and maybe we just need to find other ways that can help us to turn the tide, but definitely not a political intervention, because these political interventions have not really given us the results that we want. We want to do this, Stephen, because if we speak about high unemployment in South Africa, if we speak about poverty, it actually says in part that many of our important government institutions are not active, and municipalities are at the center of that, because they, according to the Municipal Systems Act, Municipal Structures Act, according to our constitutions, are actually supposed to be run more like a business. So they need revenue, and that will help them to create employment, and that will make sure that they sustain the provision of services, that they improve and maintain the infrastructure that is in place. So I think, yes, you are very correct. The historical problem remains. And what I noticed is that we have so far about only 38 municipalities out of a whopping 257 municipalities that have received a clean audit. So this is actually not something that has just happened by chance. It is something that politicians have invested themselves to destabilize our municipalities. And we need to come together as a society to say, what else can we do to put them at a corner where they realize they need to service our interests as citizens?
Professor Kedibone, Phago, thank you, Head of the Northwest University School of Government Studies.